And over to the team from the Mohammed bin Rashid Housing Estate.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. It's our pleasure to be here today and to give you a brief insight into our innovation practices at Mohammed bin Rashid Housing Establishment. I'll be sharing how we approach innovation as a structured journey, starting from our ideas to organizing them through a clear system and then turning them into practical solutions that could improve our services, our efficiency, and the quality of life for our customers. Before I delve into the presentation, I'll just give you a brief insight into who we are. Mohammed bin Rashid Housing Establishment is the government housing program for the Emirate of Dubai, where we offer a range of different housing services to Emirati citizens from Dubai. These include providing ready-built houses, maintenance support, and different financial services, depending on the customer's income. So before going through our innovation process as well, we just wanted to highlight some of our achievements and awards that we've won as a direct consequence of our innovation practices. We're proud to be a 7-star winner in 2025 last year under the organization-wide Innovation Award, where we became the first entity globally to achieve this rating. In addition, our smart housing platform earned a 7-star rating in the Global Best Practices Award, showcasing excellence in service delivery and innovation. And our efforts are also further validated through international certifications, including ISO 56002 and ISO 56006, along with recognition from the Global Innovation Management Institute as a certified innovative organization. These awards are all nice. It's nice to show, but the main thing that we're interested in is the impact. And from an impact perspective, we continue to achieve high satisfaction levels, both from our consumers and our employees, where we achieved a 96.7% employee happiness score and a 98.7% customer happiness score. So these achievements reflect our strong commitment to embedding innovation across all aspects of our innovation and delivering measurable value to our stakeholders. So this is our innovation strategy for 2024 to 2026. We'll be updating it next year, but it's built on 5 main pillars. And these pillars then serve our mission that you can see on the screen and our vision that you can see on the screen. So the pillars are to build a seamless corporate ecosystem to drive and sustain innovation, cultivating a daring and dynamic culture of innovation, forging powerful strategic alliances to revolutionize housing innovation, creating cutting-edge, smart, and sustainable housing solutions, and redefining community happiness with pioneering innovations. And as you can see, all of these pillars serve our core business, which is the housing sector in the Emirate of Dubai. We've established a comprehensive innovation framework based on global best practices to ensure that we achieve desired outcomes and deliver value to our stakeholders, including our customers, our employees, our partners, and society as a whole. The effectiveness of this ecosystem lies in the synergy among the different components present. By leveraging financial and human resources, along with a diverse network of partners, the leadership has built the right infrastructure to foster a robust culture of innovation, transforming our establishment with new and exciting capabilities. So as we mentioned, we have the 98.7% customer happiness. We've registered 25 innovation IP assets. We've achieved a 92.7% innovation maturity level, and our partners are 94% happy with our innovation practices. So the innovation management journey, it's a comprehensive process that integrates the best practices and global standards to drive innovation and sustainability. So it starts with our innovation team. They ideate, they innovate through research and development supported by our We Innovate digital platform, which my colleague, Engineer Alawi, will delve into in a bit more detail. In addition, they then prioritize the ideas in terms of business readiness and in terms of business value before deciding which ideas to go ahead with, and the ones that we are going ahead with. Are we going ahead with them immediately? Are we pushing them into the near future, or are they more long-term projects to target? Our leadership committee then ensures that these ideas align with both our strategic vision and the government directives that we receive, and prioritize these ideas again based on their criteria. Sorry. After that, we move into the project management phase, where we have dedicated teams to execute the projects in alignment with their nature. So we employ a more predictive approach for housing projects, ensuring structured planning and execution, while we adopt then a more agile methodology to drive our transformation projects, which allow for more flexibility and adaptability. Especially with the more agile method, the defining and then designing and then testing and redefining and redesigning before deploying is a vital step. And sometimes we get projects that could be a kind of a mix that fit into both the project team and that could fit into more the transformative projects. So we kind of adopt a hybrid kind of methodology for those kind of projects. And Engineer Hind would outline one of those projects later in the presentation. Lastly, our service improvement team focuses on sustainability management and working towards the benefits that could enhance the quality of life for our customers, that improve efficiency, productivity, and happiness, alongside the revenue generation and sustainability. So we are firm believers in continuous improvement. So while we have the 98.7% customer happiness score for 2025, the previous year was 96 point something percent. I think it was 96.5%. So while that was a good score, we're not satisfied. We're constantly seeking to keep improving, with the end goal always being our customers' happiness at the end of the day. I'll now pass the mic on to my colleague, Engineer Alawi, who will give you some of the tools that we use to drive innovation at Mohammed bin Rashid Housing Establishment.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alawi Safi. Can you hear me clearly?
You can.
Perfect. Okay. We believe in the power of ideas, and to harness them, we have adopted two innovative platforms. We adopted the 04 platform from the Dubai government to capture ideas and suggestions from our stakeholders. Also, we developed the We Innovate, our in-house digital innovation management system. This platform serves as the central hub for innovation at Mohammed bin Rashid Housing Establishment, offering insights into the latest trends and hot topics. It empowers our employees to contribute innovative solutions to address current and future challenges. Moreover, the We Innovate provides the innovation team with the tools to review and evaluate ideas, assign implementation horizons, and classify innovation types. It encourages collaboration and fosters an innovation culture through gamification, awarding digital badges and points to employees.
Hello?
Yes. Our efforts have been rewarded with a happiness score on this platform exceeding 93%, with over 500 electronic badges awarded in 2023 to our talented employees. Next slide, please. Okay, in this slide, our innovation spaces are a fusion of physical and virtual realms designed to inspire collaboration and creativity. We are proud to feature 8 such spaces equipped with 13 smart interactive screens that facilitate an immersive and collaborative environment. A standout in our commitment to innovation and sustainability is our first of its kind innovation villa. This space embodies our vision for sustainable living, showcasing recycled material furnishing and grey water irrigation systems. This commitment to our sustainability has been recognized with the prestigious GC Mark certificate of Green Company, awarded to implementing effective environmental and sustainable systems. These innovation spaces are more than just areas; they're more of a hubs where sustainability and innovation come alive. Next slide. Okay, aligning with our goals, we maximize value from partnerships with academia, research centers, and innovation partners. We collaborate to address current challenges, tap into their knowledge of the latest trends and technologies, and build a strong network from public and private sectors, fostering creativity and innovation. Through these partnerships, we have produced, published research studies and pioneering innovations that can shape the future of housing services. We have integrated a training needs assessment mindset into our innovation journey, precisely aligning our workforce's skills with our organizational vision. Through assessing strategic projects and performance, aligning with government directions, we are crafting targeted training that propels our employees towards pioneering and the future of housing, focusing specifically on innovation. We have over 750 employees who have benefited from training related to innovation to really ensure the culture of innovation is instilled in the workforce. I can pass the mic to my colleague Hind.
Good morning. I just want to make sure also the sound is clear for you.
Absolutely.
Okay. So now let's move on to showcasing some of our innovative projects at Mohammed bin Rashid Housing Establishment. We'll start with the Unified Housing Design Innovative Service. We introduced standardized yet modern villa designs that meet the evolving needs and expectations of our citizens, while offering flexibility and facades, such as modern, Andalusic, and Islamic designs. We have prepared full sets of drawings, specs, and documents, and assigned a list of contractors and consultants with competitive rates. And this way, all the beneficiary has to do is to apply for the application, choose the preferred design, and MBRHE will take care of the rest until key handover. One of the key impacts is the speed. We reduced the housing construction timeline by up to 6 months, including the design approvals and contractor processes. From a cost perspective, we ensured competitive and fixed construction cost, while also achieving zero design cost for beneficiaries. And in terms of result, we have initiated 574 villas and saved around 1,722 months in time, average of 3 months per beneficiary, and achieved over 42 million dirhams in cost saving. all while maintaining 98.75% of customer happiness. This initiative reflects our commitment to efficiency, affordability, and delivering better housing experiences. The next initiative that we have is the 3D printing villa. Mohammed bin Rashid Housing Establishment is leading the way in sustainable construction with the adoption of the 3D printing technology. Our groundbreaking project is the largest 3D printed villa, has set the Guinness World Record, pushing the boundaries of traditional building methods. The 3D villa was consisting of 4 bedrooms with a total built-up area of 298 square meters and was handed over 3 years ago to a citizen family. Although the project had many challenges due to being a new technology, the innovative approach significantly reduces the construction time and the material waste, labor requirements, and carbon emissions. And you can see that we have reduced by 35% of the construction time because of the new technology of the 3D printing. And we've also reduced around 70% of the material waste, 60% of labors, and 45% of carbon emissions. This project was just the beginning, and Mohammed bin Rashid Housing Establishment is currently studying plans to implement the technology on larger scale of projects. We're done with the presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you all. That was a really interesting, I think, way to approach it from the start with the kind of overview around your kind of innovation, vision and strategy through to kind of how you do it and the systems you use. And then finally, some of those successful projects. And I know that my experience with 3D printing is still very small and not up to printing a whole house. So that was so interesting to see. So we've already had a couple of questions in, a few questions regarding would you mind sharing the presentation that people have found really interesting, and if you're happy to do that, then perhaps you could share through myself and I'll share it with the wider group. There's a question around cost so far with 3D printing. How does kind of the cost compare, and is that 3D house made of blocks? Do you print it? How does it work? Tell us more about the 3D house.
For example, when it comes to the project, it costs around 1 million to the project that we already completed. But when we generally speak about the 3D printing technology, it might be a bit higher for now because it is a new technology and and all of the contractors and technology is not well known in the market. But compared to the time is much faster. So you're getting a faster house with a little bit maybe higher cost when it comes in terms of one villa. But of course, if we're talking about a larger scale of villas or a big project, the cost will be reduced. It's always when it comes to one villa, the price might be higher because of the technology and because it is not well known and known in the market.
Just to give a bit more detail into it.
Please.
So when we say a 3D printed villa, it's not all the villa is 3D printed. So you still have the foundations, which is the traditional method of construction, the traditional concrete. The slabs are also still the traditional cast in situ or precast slabs. What you're getting 3D printed is the walls of the villa. Those are all 3D printed. The material is basically a concrete material with different additives. And this project was one of the projects where I kind of mentioned where we have the idea and then we do the design and we do the test and we revisit the idea. So this project was very much a kind of, let's say, pilot project to see the benefits, to see the time saved, and whether we can scale this kind of technology for a large scale project. Because we get projects ranging from 10 villas to up to 1,000 villas, depending on the project. So at this moment in time, I'd say the technology probably isn't ready to do a project of 1,000 villas because there just probably aren't that many printers that feasibly you could set up on site. to do this, and the cost might still be a bit too high for a large scale project, which has now led us to investigate and kind of explore other newer construction methods, like modular construction, for example, which we're exploring now. And yeah.
Thank you. And just one last question about kind of the 3D printing. What is the kind of lifespan that you're anticipating of kind of the 3D printed material?
I'm not sure if Hind has an exact number, but basically when we decided to go ahead with this project, it was very much in collaboration with our colleagues at Dubai Municipality, where we spent a lot of time, there were a lot of meetings, kind of finalizing the specifications of the material that was going to be used, and to kind of standardize it so that it's then easier, not just for us moving forward, but for other companies going forward, where there is then a kind of specification for this kind of technology and the requirements in terms of material. So I think the lifespan is probably, I'm guessing, in the range of 30 to 50 years, but Hind can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, it is in a range of 30 years. It is somehow similar to the traditional villas, but the only, let's say, difference, as my colleague Mohammed mentioned, it is like a hybrid system. So when it's different only when it comes in terms of the walls. The walls is still under study with DM and the other authorities to check how this technology is going to increase the lifespan of the villas, because as we know until now, is the material used in the walls is a bit better than the traditional concrete and block, because you can get less cracks, and the thermal insulation is much better than the block. So it is still under study, and but it is approximately around 30 to 35 years old for the building and for this technology.
Thank you. Thank you. So the next question is going to bring us back more to, I guess, pure innovation and your innovation process. And the question comes from Wissam, and it's about, could you provide an example of how you identify an innovation opportunity? So kind of, I know like that was at the start almost of your process, kind of identifying the innovation opportunity. Could you talk a little bit more about how you identify that opportunity, and then almost walk us through possibly that diagram again until implementation, and how you measure impact as well? So there's quite a few elements to that, but it's going back to almost your innovation process and starting with how you identify an innovation opportunity.
Sure. Let me share the screen again just to get on that slide.
Please do.
So was this the
that's
slide?
it. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so the way we kind of identify innovation opportunities is we have multiple kind of routes to it. We have our internal platform that engineer Adawi mentioned, which was the We Innovate platform, where that's an internal platform where we have our employees submitting suggestions and ideas, which are then evaluated, and we then decide whether to proceed or not with them. In addition, we have the partnerships that I mentioned with research institutes, with universities, with other companies globally and in the UAE, where we kind of explore in collaboration with them any potential opportunities for growth in the housing sector. And then we also leverage like AI technologies to be constantly like searching for the latest trends and mega trends, and then to kind of then suggest to us that, hey, people are now looking into this. Perhaps it's something that we could then look into. So it's kind of a multi-pronged approach to getting ideas, and then those ideas are then kind of evaluated and prioritized in terms of ease of implementation, in terms of the business value, before we then decide to either immediately go ahead if it's a quick win and we think we can do it immediately, or if it's something that needs maybe more research, so we put it off for maybe a year or two to do a bit more research, or if it's more like a long-term goal. And sometimes it might be that we have a project, for example, that we might say, okay, first we'll do this project, to then maybe 5 years down the line be able to then do something more advanced, for example.
Yeah. And can I just ask, who does the evaluation? So do you have an evaluation committee? Is it a leadership decision? Who kind of completes the evaluation?
So we have an innovation team at MBRG, which kind of evaluates different suggestions. If it's something very technical, so for example, if it's something purely construction and engineering related, they'll get input from the relevant sections and departments internally. And then they will raise their recommendations to the leadership committee to kind of get the final go-ahead on any project.
Thanks. And so following evaluation, if you've been given a go-ahead to projects, I know that you highlighted before you had 2 software management systems. Do they kind of link into a project management software system to kind of then move the project forward and to be able to capture everything? Is that automatic, or kind of do you upload as a project? How does that kind of decision to say yes move forward?
So once the leadership committee gives the approval for a project, we obviously make sure that the financing is there for the project. Once we have everything in line and we're ready to start with the project, basically depending on whether it's more IT related or more construction related, it will split into the 2 kind of subsystems that you see here. So the Oracle and Primavera mentioned on screen are more for our construction projects. Primavera is a software we use to monitor the project plan submitted by the contractor. He'll submit his plan via this software Primavera, which we then monitor on a weekly basis to make sure everything's going according to plan, according to cost. Whereas the Jira software is more for our IT projects, where each step of that project will be handled through the Jira software. So approvals will be issued through Jira, and moving from one stage of the project to the next is all through the Jira software.
Thanks. And I guess the last point of that question was around
Yeah,
how you actually
one more thing.
measure benefits. How do you measure the benefit of, so your kind of return on investment?
So benefits, it depends on the project. So for our construction projects, we do regular workshops and meetups with our customers, depending on different areas of Dubai. So for example, if we've done a project in Al Khawanij area, we'll meet with the customer base specifically in Al Khawanij to kind of get their feedback on the project. Because their feedback might be different to the feedback of customers in a different area of Dubai. The requirements might be different to customers from a different area of Dubai. So we get their feedback after projects have been handed over, and we get their feedback during the design phase, for example, for a new project. So Engineer Hind, she's in the design section. She can give you a bit more details on kind of what they do with the customers in the design phase of projects.
Right.
Hind?
Yes, we do some kind of surveys for the project after completing the project, and usually after 1 year or so. So it will give enough time for the customers to live in the house and give us some feedback when it comes in terms of the design, the quality, and even the facilities of the community. And we also do another survey, and sometimes it's like a customer engagement session to take their feedback for future projects. So we hear from them, and we see what kind of comments they have, and we try our best to implement those comments for the new projects when it comes in, like if they have any design issues, if they have some recommendations, if there is any requirements within the community itself as services. So it's all been took into consideration for the new project. And this is happening at the beginning and the design phase. With the different categories of like the citizens. just to make sure that the new design also will meet the requirement and will be meeting their satisfaction.
Super, thank you. So very much setting it up along design principle lines and keeping the customer kind of right at the center from the design all the way through to completion, which is
In
great
terms
to
of
hear.
other kind of projects, and for benefits, we really focus on time saved. So if we have a new software, for example, that we launch, the idea of any new software, any new practice adopted is to become more efficient. So we make sure that we're saving employee man hours, we're saving costs, and these are all kind of measured to then really know whether the project was beneficial or not, and whether we need to redevelop another or not redevelop another program, but kind of study where we can improve the process further.
Great, thank you. Lots more questions coming in. Another question to stick with kind of, I guess, the ideas themselves. Do you ever revisit ideas that didn't get approved? So perhaps it might be too early, the technology hasn't developed as yet. Do you ever go back to your kind of storage bank almost of rejected ideas and look at what might be possible now?
So I mentioned if a project, for example, you mentioned the technology might not be ready right now, rather than rejecting the idea entirely, the idea itself could be good, but we might think that the technology isn't ready. So rather than reject the idea completely, we'll put the idea as a long-term project. So we'll put it in the pipeline for 10 years down the line, for example. And then as time goes on, we obviously that long-term goals come closer and closer. So we then investigate whether we need to push the idea further or whether we then can start initiating the project.
Thank you. So we've got a couple more about kind of almost working with partners. So the first is around, do you have any examples of success stories of how you've worked with academic institutions such as the RIT or the Sharjah University? So how you work with the academic partners?
So we worked with them. They were involved in the 3D printing project, and through the publishing of multiple research papers and studies with the different universities and both globally and locally.
Great. Thank you. And do you have much engagement, or what engagement do you have with startups and more kind of SMEs for new innovations and methodologies?
In terms of SMEs, it's a government directive that we have, not just an internal directive, but a government directive where we're encouraged to support SMEs wherever possible. So our contracts and procurement department have targets that they've set internally for the number of projects that they want to award yearly to SMEs. So it is a big focus of MBRG to really support these smaller companies and not always go with the, for example, big contractor, rather try and support the maybe smaller contractors for smaller construction projects and give the bigger construction projects to the bigger contractors that can handle them. So that would be one example of SMEs. Same with consultants in terms of designing our projects. Same principle would apply there.
Great, thank you. And just to highlight to everyone, Ideas UK is an SME. So if you do need to work with any SMEs, we're always here for you and happy to get involved. Another question about ideas. What's the approximate split of ideas from kind of staff or your employees versus partners? And do you use AI to look more widely for ideas as well?
In terms of numbers, I honestly couldn't give you. I'm not sure if any of my colleagues here would have numbers in terms of how many we get internally and how many we get externally. My guess would be the larger percentage should be externally, because at the end of the day, we're not the biggest government entity in Dubai. We're only approximately 300 employees, I think, if I'm not wrong. So the majority of ideas will be coming from our customers, from our stakeholders, from the society in general. And we do leverage AI to search for global trends, for mega trends, and kind of suggest areas to explore that could support the housing sector in Dubai.
Can
Thank
you go
you.
back to the previous slide, Mohammed? Sorry, the next one. Yes, this one. In this slide, here's the We Innovate platform. It actually classifies all the ideas from what we are getting from the employees. So if it's something related to sustainability, to innovation, it will classify by itself, and it will show the committee for the evaluation. So the evaluation, it will be done through the platform. So that kind of help in using AI with the ideas.
Thank you. So that's all the questions. We've got one final comment, which is that everyone is very impressed that you consider ideas that might work in 10 years' time and actually have a mechanism to track that too. I'm impressed with that as well. So I just wanted to say a massive thank you for sharing your experiences, your successes. We're all obsessed by the 3D printed houses, by the way. There's lots of comments in the chat function about the 3D printed houses and the people who live in them and what they think. But that was so interesting. Really good to get a different take on how you manage ideas and from such varied sources, not just your employees, but like you say, being a smaller organization, the kind of work you do with partners as well. So thank you so much for sharing. Thank you to everyone for joining us as well. Please do come and join us next time when on the 12th of May, as I say, we're looking at smarter ideas at scale, and we have the Rico team talking to us more specifically about how they've used AI to benefit their program. But for now, thank you so much to Mohammed, to Alawi, and to Hind for sharing your experiences so knowledgeably and generously. So thank you very much, and see you all next time.
Thank you so much for having us. Pleasure.
Thank you.